Thank you again for your time. We do appreciate it. I know that we've spent several meetings talking about compliant information management, and you had some real concerns wanting to know really where you fit within your peers. Well, the purpose of today is really to kind of share with you the trends that we're seeing with your peers. We've completed risk assessments across the country with 3,000 other enterprise customers, and I want to share with you what we saw with those customers and how it relates to what you're doing on a daily basis. What we found when you're talking about compliant information management is that you can really group these into three parcels, if you will. You have the top third. These are the group that are doing it really, really well. You have the middle third. This is the group that they're doing a good job. There are definitely some areas for improvement. And then you have the bottom third. And these are the group that we find are really struggling. What I'm going to share with you are the trends that we're seeing in the bottom, in the middle, and in the top. What we saw that they're doing well, areas that we saw could definitely be improved upon, and then relate that back to what you're doing today. So when you're looking at the top third, really the top three things that we see, number one, are retrieval of records. Fantastic job of retrieving records. Knows when and where records are, how to get them, when to get them, where to get them. Number two is the classification of records. We find that that these individuals or these companies are really doing a great job of classifying their records. Have less than 300 record codes, applying them regularly to their records as they're being sent off site, as well as the data, not only hard copy. And then the investment that these organizations are making, not only from a financial standpoint, but from a time standpoint, because it's a pretty big investment that needs to be made. So when you look at these three things, and you really kind of take into consideration the top third of these 3,000 that we've pulled, I want to share with you three fairly significant numbers. 20 is the number of lawsuits that we have uncovered within 20% of the 3,000 companies that we've pulled related to records and information management or compliant information management. 68 is a percentage, 68% of the companies we polled still don't feel comfortable with the guidelines surrounding records retention within this group. And then one fifth of this group that have over $1 billion in revenue are spending $10 million a year on litigation surrounding information management. Huge numbers. So what does that tell you? I think it tells a compelling story. Although they're in the top third, they're doing these things really well, it's just not good enough, really. And this is where we're here to help. So before we kind of talk about how we've helped out with these customers, let's talk about the middle third. So the middle third, the items that we found that they're doing well, they've created steering committees for records and information management. Fantastic step in the right direction. Number two, their retention schedule. They have a used, updated, current retention schedule. You would find a lot of people don't have this, so this is fantastic. And then privacy policies. They have very stringent privacy policies in place. I think the statistic that was shared with me was 45% of our customers within the group that we polled feel that their destruction policy is not secure. So privacy policies are an absolute integral piece of this. So then you're looking at the bottom third, and really the bottom third, the top items that we saw were the holds that were being put in place for destruction. whether that's a legal hold, whether that's a permanent hold, whatever that might be, those holds are being put in place. Discovery. Having the appropriate team, the committee, the resources in place for discovery purposes has been what we have found, that these individuals that we really are kind of seeing at the bottom end of the poll here, that they are doing well. And then last but not least, training. Training of the individuals, taking the time and investment to really train. Now, where do you fall into this? How would you rate yourself? Well, in speaking with you and in understanding what your goals and objectives are, I would say that you do a fantastic job with retrieval. I mean, we don't have any issues on the retrieval side of things. You know where your information is. You can get your information. So I would say that that's